welcome to another Creative Flow live. My name is Elisha Jacobs. If you're viewing this for the first time, welcome into the community of Creative Flow. If you're viewing this on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight. For the replay of Creative Flow, this is the weekly live sessions that I do on YouTube. And now we have our Substack community. And so we are just bringing everybody in. This is more or less like my weekly live workshops and trainings and teachings where you can come, you can ask me questions, all things relating to productivity and all the things. Tech, name it, anything in tech. You with regards to your being a digital entrepreneur or so, you can ask me questions. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight's live stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're viewing this on the replay, thank you so much as well. I must shout out to my replay because I do have a lot of people who check out the replay. So I'm gonna get it right into it tonight. By the title of tonight's video session, we are looking at how you can organize your life using Apple Reminders. Apple Reminders is one of the most underrated app that is used inside of Apple's ecosystem. And if you've been following me for a minute, you have been hearing me talking about using the Apple productivity tools in your business with your creative work. There is an underlining gem that is a whole productivity system that is available to us if we're inside of the Apple ecosystem that we can utilize. And so you don't have to pay for another subscription. You do not have um to worry about it not being accessible on your different devices. Once you have an iCloud account, you're able to have access to your entire app as it is. Whatever you do in any of these apps, you can access it throughout any one of your devices within the Apple ecosystem. So tonight we are going to look at how we can actually use Apple reminders to help us with our productivity. But I want to look at the aspect of productivity through the lens of you executing on tasks. We, as digital entrepreneurs, as content creators, there's so much that we need to get done. Some of us have so much things on our to-do list. It's like having 50 plus tabs open inside of Google Chrome. And what you will find is that you're not able to execute on those tasks. You're not able to focus on just the main things that you need to focus on and just hit them or get them out of the way. And so you can either miss important tasks and you can also miss deadlines. So this is why I am here to show you how you can use Apple Reminders to start organizing your life. And I'm going to look at it not only from a business aspect, but I'm also going to look at it from a content creator aspect. I'm also going to look at it from a personal aspect, how you can actually use it. Now, if you have never seen any of my tutorials on how you can use Apple Reminders, if you go back to the YouTube channel, there is some videos on how you can use it with Apple Calendar, how you can use it to actually manage your tasks. So tonight, I'm going to walk you through step by step how you can set up your Apple reminders either for your personal, whether for content or whether for business. I'm going to show you three scenarios. You can go along with me. If there's any questions, let me know in the comments and I will definitely answer those questions. But I'm going to literally walk you through so you can get like my thought process of how I actually set up Apple reminders. So before you go paying for another subscription, let's use what is already available to you on your various devices. So I'm going to be using my iPad for tonight's illustration because it's going to be more for me. But again, once you set it up, whether on your iPad or your iPhone, if you're following along with me, it's going to be applied throughout all of your different Apple devices, especially if you have your iCloud account connected. All right, so I'm going to switch over to my iPad feed. All right. And so tonight I'm doing something that is kind of different in that I am going to be using the white or the light mode of the iPad. This is strange in that I'm accustomed, you guys have, I think at this point, accustomed seeing me using dark mode. But for this illustration, I wanted to just turn off dark mode so you guys can see a better view of uh the setup. Now, when you open Apple Reminders, your layout may not look anything like mine. You may not see it in this calendar format. If anything, you might see it like showing up like this. The overall reminders may not have top three priorities. It may not have to-do list. So your layout will look a bit different, but we're going to get it to look like mine as you go along in the build out. Now, when it comes to using Apple Reminders, I want to use it strategically to help me accomplish tasks each day. If there is a top three priority for the week and those top three tasks has individual tasks that needs to be completed, well, this is how I'm going to not only track, but also I am going to use it to actually hold me accountable to getting the tasks done. I think a lot of times when we are procrastinating, most of the procrastination comes from us not having a system of accountability. So we are going to use Apple Reminders as our system of accountability. Now, on the left hand side of your Apple Reminders app, you're going to see, you may see today completed, show all, recently deleted, scheduled, and all those things. I kind of hide mine because I wanted a simpler look. So you can either edit your list here. So I can simply take off and put on what I don't want. So if most of you may be having all these options on, all right. And if you don't want to see that, you can just simply tick to take it off. All right. So for me, I like simple. I don't like too much things on the screen because over time they can become a bit distracting. So I just want to see what is today, and maybe I may say what is scheduled. All right. And so I just have those two options. So I can fluctuate and show exactly what I want to show on the left hand side. Now, usually they're depending on how you connect your mail accounts. That is, if you have a Google Workspace account, if you have your own private um, Gmail accounts that you've attached to your iCloud or to your Apple accounts, be it where you're managing through the mail app or you just have them syncing into the Apple ecosystem. Usually with this, if I go into settings, I can show you guys what I'm talking about. If we go into mail and we go into mail accounts, by default, for example, like this one, by default, some mail accounts would either give you the option to turn on or import calendars and reminders. And this is all dependent on the services that you're using. Gmail does give you that option too, so you can turn on your contacts, your mail, your calendars, and your notes. Um, because I have dedicated and managed like mail server for my business, I have the one with my company name with my name, and it does give me the option to actually have a reminders option inside of bringing it into the ecosystem. So you will see on the left, you would either have iCloud, you would have whichever mail option that you have imported in to your Apple ecosystem. It will either show up here or you can either turn it off or turn it on. Right? So I do have two options. And also you would see the option called tags. Now, tags is an easier way for you to find reminders inside of your Apple reminders, especially if you're a heavy user of the reminders app. You can categorize your different tasks using the different tags. I'm going to show you how you can do this later on. Right? So if I expand on iCloud, because I want everything to be synced across all the devices that I'm using inside of my business, and if I want to add that extra layer of personal stuff too, I can also add it to my add or collaborate with my personal iCloud account on my other phones or so forth. All right. Now, on the left here, where you have iCloud, you're seeing reminders. That is your standard reminders layout. That is always going to be there. But on the right hand side of that, where you see I have top 3 priorities and to-do lists, that might look a bit different for you. But I'm going to show you how you can customize that. I also have another part called Maximize My Day. This is my specialized layout of how I'm able to execute tasks. Then I have a smart list, which is called content. So any task that has the tag content comes in to this list. And then I do have another one called important. So those important is those recurring tasks that needs to happen every single month. All right. Now, if you want to create lists, the first thing you want to do is to start categorizing your tasks. So to the bottom left, you see you have add list there. When you go in there, it's going to ask you which option. If you just have iCloud selected, that is okay. If you have your other accounts connected, that is okay as well. So in this case, I'm going to choose iCloud. And then it's going to give me the option to actually create a new list. And then it also gives me the option to create a list from a template. Now, if you have the Creator Flow kit, if you've purchased the Creator Flow kit, the Max My Day Out as well as the Maximize My Day templates are available to you. So you don't have to do the full build out. It's already in there. You just click on the link and you can import it directly into your Apple reminders. So I've done the build out for you, and you just need to now just plug in your details. So I have created these templates, and you can also create your list from scratch. So in this case, I'm going to create one called personal. All right, I'm going to set it to pink, and I want an icon to represent it. Now, before I move on to that, notice under the name, it has a list type. By default, if you're creating a standard list or just a regular list that you're going to be managing, you make sure that standard is selected. But they do give you 2 other options. You can create a groceries list. You can also create a smart list. So in this case, let's say, for example, for personal, I may say I want to create a smart list. If I choose smart list, then I would go to edit filters, and that is going to be where a level of automation comes in with Apple reminders. If there's any task that has a tag that has a specific date, time, location, it's flagged, it has a priority, or it's contained within a specific list, it will go into that specific category or list. Now I'm going to choose tags, and then I'm going to say any selected tags. So it can be any tag, any selected tags. And then I can choose if I want the content tag to go in there, or I can simply tap on add, choose a new tag, and I'm going to call this personal. And I'm going to show you how this applies later on. All right, I'm going to tap on add. Okay, so it's the tag is going to be personal, and I'm going to tap on done. All right, so that's how you create a smart list, but it's based on filters. All right, the next thing is that I'm going to choose an icon to represent this. In this case, because it's personal, I'm going to choose something very basic. So I'm going to choose this little bag, and then I'm going to hit on done. So notice anytime you create a smart list, notice on the left or just where the icon is, there's a little wheel, or we call it the systems wheel. Some people call it the cog wheel or whatever. But that is indicating that that's a smart list that you have that you have created. Now if you need to edit this particular list, to the top right you see where you have those three dots. You can tap there. All right, and then you can say if you want to view it as a column, if you want to show the smart list info. All right, so I can change it out and say, well, okay, I don't want the personal tag. I may want something else selected that can go in here as well. So it could be multiple different things, filters that you can turn on that can populate automatically into this list for you. All right. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add another list. I'm going to call this business. All right, so this is going to be standard. I'm going to put it in this purple color. I'm just going to make it corporate. Tap on done. And then I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to call this content. All right. I'm going to put it in orange color, and I'll use the computer as an example. Done. So those are the different lists. Again, you can be super extensive with this list. Some people just like to have one central thing. So each of this has a specific focus. You can do it like that as well. Or if you want to have just the one standard list, you don't want to overcomplicate it, and you're now getting your feet wet with productivity, and you're now getting into this organized digital life. You don't have to create the list. You can also customize the default reminders option that is on the left here. So if I go over to reminders, I can actually customize this. So to the top right, I'm going to tap on those three dots, and I can state, okay, if I want to see it as a list, or I want to see it as columns. So each of those, you can organize it like that. And you can also say if you want to show completed, if you want to sort by manual, due date, creation date, or so. You can also manage your columns. So this is where once you select that you want to view it as columns, where you have manage columns, this is where you can actually edit the columns now. So by default, we have these two. If I were to actually rename the columns, I would simply click on the three dots to the right of the name, tap on rename. It's going to bring up my keyboard, and I can just change the name, tap on enter, and it goes in like that. So you can actually create your individual columns. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build out personal, business, and content so you can get a fresh perspective on that. So I'm going to start something with business. All right. I am going to hit the three dots. I'm going to select new section. Now, if you choose new section, this is by default, the default layout for Apple. So the first thing, I'm going to have a top three. I'm that type of person. I know that I cannot focus on more than three things in a given week for my business. Those are the top three most critical things that I need to focus on in my business. So I need to have a section for that. All right. I'm going to tap on enter. I'm going to go back to those three dots to the top right, which is like your menu. I'm going to go to manage sections, and I'm going to tap on new section. I'm going to call this daily tasks, right? And then I may need to have another section, and I'm going to call this ongoing tasks, right? So there's some things that might be repeating weekly or monthly in my business that I need to keep on top of mind, and I need Apple reminders to remind me. And if you know anything about Apple notifications with Apple, it's annoying in a good way because it will stay on your devices very prominent and until you either mark it as complete or you just see that red notification above the icon showing that something is there. And if you're triggered by notifications, it's going to prompt you to actually come in and see what you have outstanding. So once you set it up like this, depending on your style of how you like to see stuff, you can leave it like this if this is your layout style. But if this is not your layout style, you can go back to the menu to the top right and you can switch it out to view as columns. When you hit view as columns, it gives you this style. This is much more easier, especially if you're working on an iPad. This might be the ideal layout because now you can drag from one column to the other. All right. For content, I may say I want to switch to view columns, and I'm going to create a new column. So I'm going to call this section content ideas. So there are multiple ways you can capture content. So this is another way in which you can actually use Apple reminders to capture content. So you can say either content ideas. I can go to new column. I would say content to be recorded. Oh, thank you. Using my pencil today. All right. To be recorded. All right. And then I'm going to add one more section. I'm going to call this because once you record, you need to edit. So those might be my three things. Of course, I'm going to leave on the option to show complete because I want to see. You can turn it off if you want to. As you complete tasks, there are not completed column will show up and it's going to be grayed out what are the different tasks you have completed. All right. So we have business setup, we have personal setup. um I'm going to show you with the smart list how it actually works and how it's populated into personal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new section here, and just for the case of this example, I am going to say maybe this is important. I'll call this section important. I may need to have another section. I will call this my to-do list. All right. Or to-do. All right. Simple. Okay. So important and to-do. Right. So if I go into the reminders, which is just like the basic or default setup, in my to-do list, if I say, well, okay, I want a task, this is personal, and I'm just making it as an example. This is personal. Reminder to, or let me see, purchase items of Amazon as an example. Now that has nothing to do with business or anything. So if I tap, notice a little eye appears there. If I tap on that eye, it does expand more to give me more details. So I can actually put in my notes here. So I can say what are the items. If there's a specific URL, I can drop it in here as well. And this is where date and time is where you're gonna actually set up like your reminder dates and time, and it's also going to be reflected on your calendar as well, Apple Calendar. So I can say, well, okay, it's going to be due on a specific date at a specific time. All right. I can turn that off. I can also select my tags. I can choose location. When messaging, I can flag it. I can state if this is a low, medium, or high priority task. So I can say it's a medium task. It's going to be in this list. It's going to be in this column. And notice it gives you the option to have subtasks. So if I tap on subtasks, I can actually add my subtask. So review, as, as an example, review cart. Another one might be update address, update delivery. Ooh, my spelling today. Right, update delivery address as an example. Right, so those might be my two subtasks, and I can hit on done. All right, so this is how a task would actually come in. So once you do that overall task, notice because it's medium in the priority, notice it's showing just two blue exclamation points. If I were to set the priority to high, it would show three. All right. Um, if I set it to low, it will show one. All right. So I'll set it back to medium. But in this case, because it's in the overall reminders list, maybe I'm on the go and I just remember that I need to do this. I would like reminders to categorize it and put it into the smart list of personal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the tag here, and I am going to type in personal because this is the first time I'm using it. Tap on enter and tap on done. And notice right off the bat on the left hand side, yes, you have it's showing up in the reminders list, but notice on the left hand side on the personal, it went from 0 to 1. So if I tap into personal, it goes into the other category. So this is now where I can take it, tap and hold, and I can drag it in either my to do or my important. All right, if I put it into important and I release it, it's going to go in there. All right. So that's like a simple level of automation inside of Apple Reminders. So you can use the tags and you can create your smart list and it can organize it for you. If you're going to be doing it manually where you're going to be putting in your various tasks, you can use your standard list as well. So with your standard list, um, for example, with business, for example, I may have a top three priority. And so I want to make sure that with my top three priorities, I may have things to do, let's say accounting and financing, right? So this is something that I'm doing every week in my business. So accounting and financing could be a top three priority for this week. Um, I can maybe have client work. That might be a priority that I need to cover this week as well. And maybe the other thing is administrative tasks. So I'll just put this as it is. So those might be my top three. Again, if I want to expand and put what are some of the things that I need to get done, I can either make a note of it. I can say, well, this is due on a specific date. I need to get all admin stuff done by Friday. Um, I can say with the accounting and finance, I may need to get that done by Friday as well. So I know that these are three things are my top priorities for the entire week. All right. So they're all due on Friday. But what are those daily tasks that I need to do every single day to strike out that I've completed my top priority task? So let's say, for example, with client work, I may need to review a workflow, for example. So that might be something that I may need to do in order to complete a client work. All right. So I can simply add a note again, and I can choose, okay, well, I know on Wednesdays I'm focusing strictly on client projects. So I can say on Wednesday, and I can say I'm going to start that particular reviewing, that it might be just one person, or if I have details it's multiple clients, then I would need to put in that information. So I will say from 12 p.m., so there's a date and a time attached to that specific task. Now again, like I mentioned earlier, with Apple, the notifications can be very annoying in a good way, because one of the things I find, once it notifies you that there is a task that is pending or it's due, it never removes that notification until you actually goes in. And that's really good, because again, with this system you are actually creating that accountability partner in you getting your task done, right? So I can add multiple different things to this. I can add my subtasks if I need to, and other details if there's a specific location or so forth that I need to get this task completed. Now, if there's ongoing tasks, for example, let's say for example, I do a weekly business check-in. So I need to know what is going on, what is working, what is not working inside of my business. And I know that this is a task that I do every Monday. I can simply tap on the I, right? And let's say I want this to start from next week. I want to start doing this from next Monday. All right. Where I have early reminder, I can say I want to be reminded either the day before, 2 days before, or I can choose custom. It could be an hour before or a minute before. Or, and the other thing is that I want this to be repeated every single Monday at a specific time. So I'm going to put in the time. I may say I want to do this from 9 a.m. I want to do it 9 a.m. every Monday morning to do that check-in. So I'm going to choose weekly. I can choose custom, or weekly, sorry, could be weekdays, weekends, whatever that specific task is. I can choose custom, and I can change the frequency if it's daily, if it's twice daily, if it's a task that you need to do morning and evenings to either start or close out your day, you can do so as well. So in this case, I'm going to choose weekly, all right? And I can choose repeat forever, or I can set a repeat date, right? Once you do that, you tap on done, right? And notice every week, like clockwork, it's going to remind you that you have your weekly business check-in. That is also going to be reflected in there. One of the things that I love about the reoccurring tasks is that every week it will give you that reminder. And also, once you have stated that you have completed that task on that specific day, it's going to continue the process weekly. Uh, if you want to set up a reminder every month, you do a specific task every month for your business or your content, you can do so as well. Um, as a good practice with your tasks and using it as a way to organize your life as a business owner as well as a content creator, you can also set up reminders where you can have a reminder either 5 minutes before or 1 hour before. So as a rule of thumb, I like to use 1 hour before, right? And I can tap on done, all right? And it's always going to remind me 1 hour before. So at 8 o'clock on every Monday, I'm going to be reminded that I have that weekly check-in. So in this way, I'm preparing myself to do that weekly task. And also I may need to gather certain details in order to do that weekly task. Right? Let me know in the comments if this is helpful, if it gives you new perspective in terms of how you can actually use Apple reminders, because A lot of people use Apple reminders for different things, but it's just finding the use case of how you can use it in your everyday life and business and as a content creator, and how it can be effective for you, right? The same thing with content. I'm thinking I may just take out the ideas. And I can say with content, I may have a few contents that I'm either thinking about. So, for example, I may want to do a content on Apple reminders, right? I may want to do something YouTube live. I may need to do an Instagram reel. Let's say these are the three things I may want to be focusing on this week, or however you're going to set it up. All right. I may also need to state that I need to, right? So this is where weekly planning comes in, because once you have a plan for the week, it kind of helps you to like really focus in on getting certain tasks completed, right? So I have these three things for content. Now, as I'm going through my days and I'm like, okay, I need to get that Instagram reel recorded. So I move it out of the area of it just being an idea or being a list of content that I need to do. And I'm going to move it over to the section of content that needs to be recorded. All right. I may say, well, okay, it's in that section, good enough. But if I really want to execute on it and like really hold myself accountable to getting that piece of content recorded, I'm going to actually put a due date. All right. So I may say I want to record it on Thursday at a specific time. And because I'm that morning person, 6 a.m. may be the ideal time for me. So I'm going to tap on done. So this is me holding myself accountable to getting this particular task done because it's on my it's in the reminders list, yes, but also adding that date and time is going to be it's going to be placed on my calendar. All right. Now, I may also need to have something that it needs to be edited, maybe need some tweak or so forth. So this is another use case scenario in which you can actually set up a system for your content. You have all your content recorded, and then you can just move it through the stages of it being recorded, stages of it being edited, stages of it being scheduled, and stages of it being published. All right, which would be in this case the completed option. And again, once you have, let's say for example, completed that specific task, all right, once you've stated you have completed that specific task, you can also come in here as a good measure, and for you to remember what you have done, you can add the URL right there. So the URL to that published piece of content. Okay. So these are some of the use case scenarios of how you can use Apple reminders. You can use it for content planning and just keeping track of your content as it goes through its different phases. You can use it for business to get your different business tasks completed. And you can also use it for personal. So beyond just having the smart list, you can come in here if you have itinerary of things that you need to do on the go. Maybe you need to do a few things outside of your home or your office today, and you need to have that list with you. You can put it in your to-do list. So these are just a few ways in which you can set up Apple reminders to get your life organized. And again, it's not too overwhelming, and it's very easy for you to manage. The other thing I want to show you is that apart from having it inside of the app, to make it more effective, you can actually insert the widgets. I'm going to remove this so I can show you how it's done. So if I tap and hold on my screen and I tap on edit to the top left, I'm going to click on add widget. Right, and I'm gonna go down into reminders. It's going to give me three options where I can choose how I want the reminders to look. I like the bigger view of the widget. So I'm going to tap on add widget. And then it by default it's going to actually select um the default reminders there. Oops. All right. So I'm going to tap and hold on this. I'm going to tap on edit widget. And then I can choose which one of the lists I want to show on my device. So in this case, if I just want to show business, it is going to show all my business tasks. This is super, super helpful for those who need to have not only the app, because most times if it's not in front of our face, if these tasks are not in front of our face, we are either going to forget it. And so this is a great way for you to also have it soon as you swipe in or you log into your home screen. It's right there that you can be reminded of it. And you can do the same on your iPhone. You can do the same if you're using Mac OS as well. Right? So that is how I would set up and use Apple reminders to start organizing my life. Whether if you can, it's you find that it will be useful for personal, you're going to use it for business, you're going to use it for content, you're going to use it to manage projects for your clients, whatever's the use case scenario. It is free. It integrates with all of your Apple devices, so you can access it on the go. And also, it is a very simple and effective way for you to start learning and developing that productivity muscle, and also becoming organized in that way, or the beginning of digital organization in that way. Right now, if you're like, yeah, Elisha, I don't want to be spending hours building out the entire thing, I do have my maximize my day and max my day out templates, which is located inside of the creator flow kit. So I've given you all my entire system of how I plan, organize, and create content without the overwhelm and without the fatigue. I give you my Notion templates, I give you the Apple Reminder templates, I give you email and workflow templates, and also my 3-step autopilot guide of how you can create with ease and not with any overload with regards to having multiple different systems and we being burnt out. So if you're interested to grab your Creator Flow kit, you can click the link in the description and you get access to all the things inside of the Creator Flow kit. And also, there is some bonuses that I've added in there, like my content capture system using just my Apple iPhone, taking that idea, whether I voice it or I type it, and it goes right into my Notion content flow planner and inbox. And so I have a central location for all the random ideas that I get at random places, how I capture it, and how I put it into Notion. I have a full breakdown of that entire system and how I actually organize it. And I also take you behind the scenes of my full content workflow from the idea right until I actually publish that content. So that is like a 15-minute training that is also included in the Creator Flow kit that you can access in the link in description. So I would like to thank you so much for tuning into tonight's Creator Flow Live. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let me know. Come back. Do all your build outs. Use Apple Reminders for 30 days. Give the system and the tool 30 days. See how it has improved your productivity level, how you're able to stay organized, and come back and tell me exactly how it's helped you. And let me know more about your journey in becoming a productive, creative, as well as digital entrepreneur. Thank you so much for tuning into tonight's live stream, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment on all the good things, and I will see you guys back in the next live stream. Bye bye.